guys, it's Nikki and I'm here with another Copic tutorial, and I think this is number 13. It's been a while since I've done one. But before we start the tutorial, I want to show you a few cards I've made coloring with my Copics, and these cards are for an organization called Operation Right Home, and they send cards to soldiers, and that way the soldiers can write to their family and send them home. So they don't want like a lot of embellishments on it, and I thought these were just perfect for that. It's just a stamped image with a greeting inside. So the products I used, the paper I used is this letterpress paper, and this is the A2 fold cards and the envelopes. And you can get these at Hobby Lobby. They come in different colors. The white ones are the ones I'm using for this. Um, and they're for the letterpress machines, but I don't have one, so I used them for this. I found them at a discount store. But these images that I've colored, they are from Hobby Lobby, and it's the Hobby Lobby brand stamps. Um, and that's the web address for Operation Right Home. It's operationrighthome.com. And so these images just work perfectly. Now the cardstock holds up pretty good, but as you can see there, sometimes they bleed through just a little. So if you're really aggressive with your coloring, they will bleed through. But you know, if you use a light hand, it works out fine. And what I did is I just ran these through the printer and printed out the sentiments, because they don't want handwritten sentiments, and I didn't have a lot of sentiment greetings and that kind of stuff, so I just typed them up and ran them through the computer printer. I love this little image, this little mouse sniffing in the flower. Um, and this image is kind of a little more girly, but they're girl soldiers, and so they can use it. And then this is the last one, and this little chipmunk is really cute. So there's just some cards that I made for that organization. I'll be sending them off soon. And the image that we're going to be coloring today is one of those stamps, and it's this little whale with the little bunnies throwing carrots in the well to make wishes. And I thought it would be a happy birthday card, a cute happy birthday card. So I've already put my sentiment and all that good stuff on it. So to get started, I'm going to start coloring the whale first. And for the stones, I'm going to use the neutral grays. If you buy these in a pack, they're going to be called sketch Copics. And a lot of like manga or magazine, illustrations, that kind of stuff, you would use these to just sketch out your initial drawing and then have a go at it with the colors. So I'm starting darkest to lightest. This first color is N6, and I'm just following the image as far as the shadows and the crevices and the rocks and stuff that's already indicated there by the stamp. And this is a really good image for beginning Copic colors, because you kind of have that guideline already in place for you. So I'm just going in and filling in all these little nooks and crannies with the darkest color. Then after the N6 is laid down, I'm going to go in with N4, and I'm just going to use it to color most of the image. The darkest spot, like between the little bunny's legs, is all going to all be colored in with the N4. And then after that, then I'm going to go in with N2, and I'm just going to color in what's left, the highlighted areas, and use it to blend the two previous colors together. So there you can see the whale is all colored in, blended together. Now the next part that we're going to color is this little roof on top of the well. And the reds that I'm using is R39, R35, and R32. This first color I'm laying down is R39. It's the darkest. The problem I ran into with this is I don't have all of the R colors in this family, like in the 30s. So I kind of had to work around that and um, color it a little differently than what I normally would. And so what I did first is I just went in the shadowed part, like where the shingles lay over each other. I went in with the R39 and put that down. And then I went over the entire roof with the R35, and you'll see that in just a minute. So here's the R35, and if you look, you can see that it's considerably brighter than the R39. Um, and I'm gonna have to tone that down some and make it just a little not so bright, not so vibrant, so that it'll blend and also match the rest of the image because it's not really bright. So what I'm doing is I'm going over it with R32. And what it does is it acts sort of like a colorless blender does because it's so much lighter than those other colors and it's got a less pigment in it. Then it kind of tones down those colors. So that's instead of you could do the tip where you put the tip onto the chisel point and basically create a new color that way. But when you have a large area like that, it's very tedious and it's a little aggravating to do it. So that's why I decided to do it this way. So here I'm just using my markers, the different colors, just to blend it and working it. I think this is the R39 that I'm going in with, and I'm also adding some of the R39 to the very top just to bring that shadow in so that it looks like my light source is coming from the left hand side. So that's our little roof finished and blended together. Now for the to complete the well, I'm going to go in to the post and color these with the cool gray colors. This is C5 that I laid down first. Then I'm coming in with C3, and I left just a little spot, and I'm going to color that with a C1 and then use a C1 to kind of blend it all out. It's nothing big, not a lot of not a lot to that. Just I didn't even use the C1 on that other little part. I just colored it with C5 and C3. Now for the carrots, I'm going to go in first with the wire 65. These are the orangey colors that the Copic markers come in. And I'm going to just put this base color down. And then after I put the wire 65 down, I'm going to come back in with the wire 68, which is right this color, and just do a little shadowing. I think it's so cute that they're using carrots instead of coins to put into the wishing well. So then I just go back over with the wire 65 and get that nice and blended together. Then the rest of the carrots that the little bunny's putting in from the jar, I'm going to do the same way. Lay down the wire 65. And I'm using a lighter touch with this one than I did with the pile on the ground because it's going to appear as if it's coming being seen through the jar. And so it's not going to be as bright naturally coming through the jar. So I just if you're not as heavy, it can make the colors appear lighter. And that's just basically what I did. And then I blended it really good with the wire 65 after I put in the wire 68 shadows. Once the carrots are colored, I'm going to go in and color the jar. Now the jars are clear, as we all know. But if you go in with your light blues, the blue I'm using here is BO2, which is going to be the darkest blue I use on this. You can give the appearance of glass because even though it's clear, it still has shadows and whatnot on it. Then this lightest color is B000, and I'm just going in and blending that blue, and I'm really saturating it, really working in the edges of the darkest blue, um, just because it's glass and I don't want that line. Then I go back in with the BO2 and just where the darkest shadows on this are, and you can see it's indicated with the stamped image already. I just go back over that, and then I just use the B000 again just to lightly blend it out again. Now we're going to be coloring the bunnies. This first bunny, I'm going to color the tail and just the areas on his body where the fur isn't the thickest. I'm going to color with the lightest color. This color I'm going in with is E31. And then the second color that I use with that is E33. So those will be the lightest colors that I use on that. And I'm just blending it back out. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to lay down a base color of E11. And I'm using a circular motion to lay this down because the bunnies do have fur and you're going to have some kind of direction, but I don't want that direction established by this color. I want it established by the shading. So I'm just going to lay it down in a circular motion and give myself a base to work with. Now after I get that base of E11 laid down, I'm going to go in with the E13 and just start adding some shading. And if you can see, I'm using like a flicking motion with the tip of my marker. And that is a way of, I'm following the direction of the fur. I know you can't see it that well on the image, but that's what I'm doing. Now after I laid down that E13, I went in with E15, which is going to be my darkest color. And just following, once again, the direction of the fur. Now I'm going to go back in with E13 and blend out the edges of the E15. And add a little more depth. And then once I do that, then I'm going to go in and blend it all together with the E11. And E11, E13, E15, it's one of my favorite combinations for a light reddish color brown. I picked up the wrong tip. I just went in there and recolored with the E31 just to blend it a little better. So that's the first bunny. The second bunny, I'm going to use E000 for the face and the tummy and the tail and his little feet, just where once again where the fur is the thinnest. And after I lay down that base of E000, I'm going to go back in with E00 and just add a little shading. Now once those are all laid down, I'm going to go in with E31 and lay down the base color just like I did with E11 on the other bunny. And just with a circular motion lay in that color. I really wanted to use my cool grays on this little bunny, but because he was propped up against the wall, I thought he would have got lost in all the gray, so that's why I picked the earth tones. Now this second color that I'm laying down on his coat is E33, and then I went back with the E31 because it just, even though they're right next to each other on the color chart, they have a really big difference in my opinion as far as the depth of it. Now this last color is E37, and in consideration to E31, which was the base coat, is considerably darker. So I was very stingy with this color. I didn't put a lot on the image. Then after that, I realized how dark it really was, so I had to go back in and put in some E33, a little more than I had. And then I'm going to blend it all together with the E31. And sometimes you have to improvise when you're coloring these images. Sometimes, even though you have a color chart, it doesn't come out quite the same way. Then I just went back in with the E000 and the E00 and just blended it in a little more. Now the third bunny I'm going to color with my warm grays. For his little nose and ears and tails, I'm going to go in with E50 as the first color, and then I'm going to come in with E51 and just do a little shading with that. My base color is going to be W1, and it's going to be the lightest of the warm grays. And just put that all in. You can see that circular motion going on. Then I'm going to come in with W3, my medium tone. And then after that, I'm going to go in with W5. And then after that's all done, then I go back in with the W3 and then finally the W1. Now the last part is the shadow. And what I did was I used BV00, and I really needed BV000 to do this, and then go back and highlight some areas with BV00, but I don't have BV000. So I improvised and I put down the BV00, and then I went over the entire shading part that I used with the colorless blender, and it really toned it down a lot. Then once I did that, I went back with the BV00 that I had used first, and I just darkened up some of the areas around the little feet and the carrots and the well. So, and then I just smooth out some of the edges. So that's our little image that we colored, and I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks all for stopping by, and hope you have a good day. Bye.